All right, thanks for the tag, Spooky. Mikey, appreciate you coming on the show.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me.
So like Spooky said, I'm going to jump right into it to one of my favorite moments. It was on the tail end of the Monday Night Wars. But imagine the baddest man on the planet. And imagine the Texas Rattlesnake in a ring together. And like you have to remember, Mike Tyson's hands are registered lethal weapons.
Right,
so
right.
you already
you already know.
It didn't matter, like you knew it wasn't going to get pushed too far. Obviously, with Mike being like, I'm not gonna say at the height of his career because I still think he's at the height of his career, just a different
that
career.
dude, yeah.
But with his hands being registered weapons, I knew he wasn't throwing a punch. But just to have that magnitude of the best boxer of all time, arguably, that's for a different topic, in the ring with Stone Cold Steve Austin, if that doesn't show you that my man Vince was ahead of his time and said, you know what, let's see how far we can really push this, because people were on the edge of their seats.
And that brought so many eyes to the business in WWF. Like, it's crazy what Tyson did. I wonder what kind of payday he made on it, or what investment Vince had to make on that. But
and like what
it
you
was
said,
right.
It was an investment because people from all around. Boxing was different than it is right now. We all know that. But it's still the man, the myth, the legend.
It's Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson.
Just say it. With that being said, excuse me, I'm going to jump on over to some of the talent that left WCW just in time to hop over to WWF because they weren't getting pushed. You had, your Chris Jerichos, your Chris Benoit's, your Dean Malenko's, your Eddie Guerrero's, Paul White. I think they got out at the perfect time in order to really get the push because, like, look at the names that I said. They went on to be champions.
I think Paul White was probably first, right? Of those big guys that came over, I think
I would say
he was the one.
Of the largest names.
Yep. Came through the ring.
Spooky's always on it. So I want to jump over to it. Not saying that the Monday Night Wars is over, but I want to jump on over to a local level. We did mention IWR pre-production.
Let's go, IWR.
I'm going to jump right into it. What's been one of your favorite guest appearances that maybe in ring, out of ring? Who has the IWR promotion brought to Monroe that you just was like, holy moly, this is awesome?
So, I mean, because I'm going to be biased and friends of all of ours, D-Mac and Bronco, I mean, those are just our guys. So I'm glad, and Bronco's Monroe guy. But outside, like, the wrestling big level, oh, man, I would have to say Billy Gunn, man. That, for me, like, bringing Billy Gunn, like a DX member here was huge for me.
Big, and before, I feel like, because that was in the earlier stages of IWR, so people really didn't know about it back then. I say it on every podcast. I say it to Gary himself. People still don't know what's going on right in our backyard.
Oh, it's crazy, yeah.
We know what's going on.
I missed a few of them, and I finally got back, and I'm just so happy to be back. And
it is so cool to see, because that is a lot of the same people, and it's a very intimate crowd. But you know that every month, or 10 times out of the year, who is Rhino and Gary going to bring to our backyard?
Who was yours?
I mean, for me, it had to be, I like Keith Slater.
Yeah, you know what, that was a good one. I think it was like the Kid in Me in the Attitude Era is why I said Billy Gunn, but I love Heath Slater.
Big
Con was great.
Come on,
he was great to Riot, so he's all jacked, just coming out looking mean. And then my dad was holding Riot, and he looked at Riot and gave him a fist bump and gave him a big smile, and I'm like, he's such a good dude. Like, so I always got love for that guy.
The fact that he was, the IWR champion, and like
it was the first one, right? I think it was
Yeah, he was the first IWR champion. Then it was Eric Rowan.
For that hot second.
And then it jumped into, for that hot second, jumped into Dread King Logan, and now, help me out, Spook. Tom Latimer. I was going to say Mike Latimer. I said that's not it. Tom Latimer. It gets me with that little belly button ring that he's got there, but I can't say nothing to him because I don't want to go through the ring. With that being said, everyone's got their own thing. That's fine. What's been one of your favorite matches to watch at IWR?
Oh, man. You know what? My favorite match I'd have to say is Trey Miguel and Jason Hodge. Those guys are just...
Ding, 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 ding. Said that on an earlier podcast today.
That's a pay-per-view quality match that's in our hometown. So for them, got Terry and Gary. Thank you guys for bringing that match to Monroe. I'm bummed that so many people can't see that match. You know what I mean?
It was so cool. I said it earlier as well. I'm just restating myself, but I was out of my body, and I was in my 8-year-old body just watching these guys go at it, and the amount of respect that they have for each other. It was just wild.
Magic and Monroe.
Jumping off into, I'm just going to go run and gun real quick. Who was your favorite diva? Any era?
Oh, man. I had a weird thing between Trish and Lita.
Okay.
But then there is a one segment with Stacy Keibler I probably shouldn't get too deep into because it's probably kid friendly, but yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll send the clip to you.
I would love to see it. And the funny thing is, I would watch with my grandpa. Those of you guys been watching know that's one of the reasons why I started watching wrestling. And I'm over here 8, 9, and my grandpa, at this point, 71. He's probably. I'm like, we got to switch to this. Grandpa, mom's gonna come in thinking, what are we watching? The puppies.
Oh man, it makes me miss a Sable though. Sable was a huge one. Then she did Playboy. So when she did Playboy, I was 5th grade maybe, and the neighbor, actually the kid I used to hang out with, his dad had the Playboy, and we stole it. So we got to see it when we were little kids, man. It was great.
All right, we got to go Big Papa Pump or Goldberg.
Oh, physique-wise or skill set-wise?
That's a good one. I mean, physique, I got to go with Big Papa Pump, but skill-wise.
I probably still have to go Big Papa Pump because I've heard a lot of reckless stuff about Goldberg. But I did see Goldberg at Kmart. It was a signing he was doing, and I was in
Kmart?
line. No, it was in Taylor or something, not our Kmart.
You came to Kmart?
But yeah, I got to see. I didn't get to meet him, but I got to see him.
These ones are more mainstream. We go Rock or Hogan.
I still got to go Rock.
Okay, yeah.
It was just, I have a Hulk Hogan like the My Buddies, the wrestling. I got that at home still. Looks bad, but yeah.
It's been through some matches.
Bro, I used to wrestle when I was a kid. And my parents, they had a king size bed, so I thought it was my wrestling ring.
Off the turnbuckle.
Yeah. Spook.
Kane or Undertaker?
Undertaker.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, that's fair.
How he created the American Badass to stay relevant in the Attitude Era and then go back. A lot of guys couldn't do that. They couldn't make that switch.
We're talking about the best ever do it, in my opinion. We're going to go Chris's. Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit.
Ooh.
Just wrestling.
Okay, yeah. Personal stuff aside, I still say Jericho, man.
Once again, to be able to do it in different. I mean, obviously Chris Benoit did, but to be the first undisputed champion, to be able to grab a mic, to be able to have talk shows.
He got over clicking a pen. He got that to pop. I'm just saying. That's huge.
I'm gonna have to go Chris Jericho as well. Commentators: Jim Ross or Jerry the King?
Oh, I gotta go good old JR. He killed it. And he talks about Triple H. Don't touch her, you son of a bitch. Excuse my language. I'm sorry I edited that out. But
he hated Triple H.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And match you wish you could see, and I'll let you take a second for that. It could be any promotion.
Oh, I already know it.
Run it for me.
Taker and Sting.
Okay.
In their prime, Undertaker and Sting, is a match. I think it was close to happening, but I think it wouldn't have lived up to what we all expected because they were so late in their career. I don't think they could have ran the way it should have been, but that would have been my dream match.
Okay.
What about you?
One last one. My dream match, Hulk Hogan taking on John Cena.
That's a good one. I never even thought about that,
Hogan
honestly.
Taking on John Cena, both in their prime, not NWO.
So that's what I was going to ask. Pre-NWO Hogan?
Yep, exactly. I want the red and yellow. I want him coming down to the ring, cargo shorts and all, and not once again, not post John Cena, the Marine. Right. I want my time is now. I want chain. The whole chain.
The lock on and everything.
The lock and everything.
Freestyle.
For sure someone stole someone's bike on that. But yeah, those are the questions that I had. And one last one. What would you say to somebody who maybe hasn't been to the IWR? Because I hype on that a lot. It's our hometown show. What would you tell them right now? Because, once again, tickets are only $15 for general admission.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a family-friendly event. It's just so much fun. some of these guys will get like, I think walk into it like, oh, I'm just a wrestling fan. But then you get there and you're screaming, you're yelling, you're chanting, you know what I mean? Like you get so involved into it that it's just, it kind of takes over and gets you like being a kid again. Wow. Even like grown adults that I seen this guy, he looked like he was, you know, cock diesel and don't mess with me. But then he's over there yelling and like, I'm like, this is what it's about. And all the kids are standing on their chairs. They're, you know, it's just so much fun for the family.
Are crying.
Right, because they buy into it that much. I mean, there's one match like I almost like teared up, like, damn man, my guy got it. But really you know, it's just it's so much fun, man, for the family. And even April, she came last time and stayed the whole time. Like she loved it. She's like, I can't wait till the next one. My wife's not a wrestling fan, but she'll deal with it.
My wife is not a wrestling fan.
Not at all,
either.
but she loves.
Before we head out, I want to tag Spooky in one last time. He's got a few more things to say.
I can just keep going, boys.
All right, so I'm tagged back in. I just got to ask, who do you think pushed the envelope more, NWO or DX?
I'm going to have to say DX because, like, pushing the envelope, like, it's just because they went, like, real...
raunchy.
Yeah. So I think that's pushing it more. NWO did a lot of crazier stuff to where I think during one segment they were out back, and that's when they threw Rey Mysterio into one of the trailers. Somebody called the cops thinking there was an actual brawl outside the arena.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just think the raunchy stuff like that pushed it further. And actually, USA Network sent them a letter saying, like, you can't do this. And then they played off that letter
they mimicked
and
that.
quoted it. You know, so, I mean, I think I
remember
pushed it.
That. They were like, between the hours of blah, 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 we won't say this and this. You know?
And it's beeping all kinds of stuff out. But, I mean, and that could have, they didn't know, that could have pulled them from USA. And then they wouldn't have had a TV deal. So, that's pushing hard with, you know, what you believe in. And
exactly. And I think that goes with not just the writers, that goes with the talent, with like Shawn Michaels and Triple H just really believing in themselves, you know, and bringing China in too, because no one really sees
that was a crazy
China
one,
as a woman, you know, and speaking of woman, no pun intended, but woman in WCW, you know, like that was like the face over there. But she wasn't doing what China was doing over here in WWF, you know, slamming people, choking people out.
Right.
Know? And then soon going on to be the IC champion, entering the Royal Rumble, you know.
Right, beat Jeff Jarrett for the IC title, I think, right?
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett. And I think even then she went on a feud with Jericho.
Yep.
A little bit for the IC title. But
so real quick, I'm not trying to take over the podcast. Do you think Vince Russo had as much to do with the writing and the Attitude Era, or it was just he was right place, right time, kind of got credit for it? Because like I've heard mixed reviews. I heard like he says it was all him. Other people said he sucked, but it was just he got credit for.
I think that, you know, credit given where he's a good guy. He knows wrestling, right? He's there at the right time. But again, it's really especially in the Attitude Era, these guys were really just going for it. They were saying like, look, I'm doing it. I believe in myself. I'm going for it.
I kind of wish they would give creative control back to, you know, the athletes instead of everything so scripted. Mm-hmm. Let them take control and do their promos.
I think to an extent, though, honestly, because that's where you can get things misconstrued with, you know, if I might think that I'm better than you in real life. You know what I mean? What you should have that, not sense of an ego, but you should think that you're the best, right?
Right.
But I'm not gonna. You give someone a hot mic like that, you might.
Right.
You might have a CM Punk moment.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know about the creative control because at the end of the day, everyone needs to play their part. And
right.
I think
to
that
build
the writers,
the brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like, Dev and I talk about it all the time when we have clients and they're like, I don't know what to say on camera. I don't know what to do or how to look. It's like, well, leave it to us. That's what we're here for. You know, that's what the writers are there for. That's what the cameramen are there for. So I think that everyone has a time and place in all their positions. You know what I mean? But again, though, I think that's why AEW isn't doing as good as WWE because they have so much creative control that they're just like,
gotcha.
It's a free-for-all out there. You know what I mean? That's kind of what WCW was. Eric Bischoff didn't know what he was doing. He was just like, screw it. This week
shooting
we're
from
gonna
the
do
hip,
this. Yeah. Don't know what's going to happen, you know? But I think all in all, it was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Oh, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I'm Spooky.
I'm Mikey Shu.
And at the end of the day, we're just a couple of dudes talking wrestling.